Morning, guys. I'm headed back over to the marina this morning to work on the boat. Part of what I would like to do with this channel is to show you guys where we are. I'm in Vermont. That's where I'll be for a year, maybe a year and a half. And it's wintertime. It's vacation land. People come here to ski, snowmobile, snowshoe, winter camping. There's lots to do. Ice fishing is another pretty popular thing this time of year. In the fall, there's the foliage. Summertime, there's lots of hiking and backpacking, lakes and camping, and lots to do year-round. I'm going to shoot some video east to west going over the Green Mountains so you can get a look at Vermont on the way over to Lake Champlain. So I'm going to try to show you what we have here to do in Vermont, and as I travel around the world in the future, I will try to bring you the highlights of every area that I go to. I haven't really covered that yet, but that is my plan for this channel, to complete the refit of the boat and start traveling.
An old blue shirt and it suits me just fine. I like the way it feels, so I wear it all the time. I got an old guitar, won't ever stay in tune. I like the way it sounds in a dark and empty room. I got an old pair of boots and they fit just right. Well, I can work all day and I can dance all night. I got an old used car and it runs just like a top. I get the feeling it ain't ever gonna stop. Stuff that works, stuff that holds up, the kind of stuff you don't hang on the wall. Stuff that's real, stuff you feel, the kind of stuff you reach for when you fall. I got a pretty good friend who's seen me at my worst. He can't tell if I'm a blessing or a curse, but he always shows up when the chips are down. That's the kind of stuff I like to be around. Stuff that works, stuff that holds up, the kind of stuff you don't hang on the wall. Stuff that's real, stuff you feel, the kind of stuff you reach for when you fall. I love, she's crazy and paints like God. She's got a playground sense of justice, she won't take odds. I got a tattoo with her name right through my soul. I think everything she touches turns to gold. Stuff that works, stuff that holds up, the kind of stuff you don't hang on the wall. Stuff that's real, stuff you feel, the kind of stuff you reach for when you fall. Stuff that works, stuff that holds up, the kind of stuff you don't hang on the wall. Stuff that's real, stuff you feel, the kind of stuff you reach for when you fall.
So I just got here, pulled into the yard at the marina. I'm going to get things opened up, ladder out, get inside, get the heat going, generator out, all the things that I normally have to do to get started. On top of that little tour that I did. This week's video is a continuation of last week's video. I'm going to finish up the starboard side cabin top cores, getting up into the V-berth. So that's what we're doing today. We're back inside. You can hear the generator running in the background. I did get a little bit started here before I show you the recap from last week. I fit this cabin top side template that's behind me. Let me get behind the camera and show you what we're looking at here, and then we'll continue where we left off last week. So the sunlight coming in through the port light. I don't have enough light with my box lights here to be able to really control it very well. But this is what I did last week. You can see the headliners just hanging down there, blocking that top edge. But I did get that fitted today. A little bit of extra space around the port lights. That's all going to get filled in with 1708 layers and layers of glass. So that all those screws will go into glass, have a separation between the wood and any chance of moisture getting into the cabin top sides again. Even if the port lights should leak, it still shouldn't be able to get that core wet. I think we've taken care of that problem. This back corner here, you can see I've got that fitted in there. I ended up with a 1-in-7 slope, so there'll be a little bit of thickened epoxy going between those two, sandwiched together. I'll put a couple screws in there to pinch them closed while it sets up. And I'm also going to have to take out some of these screws around the port lights and use those holes to be able to make clamps just to hold the cabin top core in place when I get ready to do epoxy. So I'll clean everything up, sand it really well, wipe it all down with acetone, mix my epoxy, bond that into the cabin top side. Use those screws to clamp that in place. And up front here, this is where we are going to be working today. First thing I need to do is remove that bulkhead. It goes into the V-berth. I'm going to flip my light around so you can see. I got to remove that bulkhead because I need to get right by here through that joint with my cabin top side. My goal is to get those cores cut and completed all the way to the front. And then we'll be looking for that MDO to make these bulkheads out of. All right, I'm gonna set up a time lapse and you guys can watch me get this little bit done.
Old Ramblin' Jack Elliott said, I got these lines in my face, trying to straighten out the wrinkles in my life. When I think of all the fools I've been, it's a wonder that I've sailed as many miles. To which Larry Mahan replied, he said, the sweet bird of you was sitting on my shoulder yesterday, but she's always changing partners, and I always knew she'd up and fly away. Well, it's staying up all night in a Driscoll hotel, Ramblin' Jack and Mahan, cowboyed all to hell, and the room smelled like bowls, the words sound like songs, and there's a pair to draw to, boys, I would not steer you wrong.
Well, that didn't take anywhere near as long as I thought it would. Let me show you what I got done. So we're looking at the port side settee behind the galley here. I moved those bulkhead templates over here, get them out of the way. I showed you earlier, this one's in place. Cut around 2 inches all the way around. Those port lights for glass. This little section in the middle here, it's like 5 or 6 inches long. So I'm actually going to, just like in that back corner, I'm gonna cut this back. It's gonna be a 1-in-7 pitch, both sides. It'll be a little trapezoid piece of plywood that goes in there. And those will get bonded together with epoxy in between the two panels. So that's not something I'm gonna do right off. I'm gonna get these other ones bonded in place, and then that little piece will go in. It might go in at the same time, but it might go in afterward as well. We'll have to wait and see. So here's the rest of the core right here, going toward the bow into the V-berth. I ran into a little issue with these front port lights. I didn't have enough room to cut it back a full 2 inches all the way around. It is 2 inches on the sides, 1.5 inches on the bottom, and only 1.25 inches on the top. So I would have liked a bigger hole, but that would have left very, very little wood above those port lights, and I wasn't really liking that. It should do just fine. It's still going to be screws going into glass rather than screws going into wood, and should prevent that from being a leak issue in the future. So it fit very nicely all the way to the front. Ended up being 2 pieces of wood, 8 feet long, with that extra little 5-inch piece in the middle. So that's how today went. View from this end, look into the stern. So that leaves me with some questions for next week. It's still cold, not gonna be doing any fiberglass. Maybe I should get into this. It's gotta be done. So that would be pulling this thing apart and going through the same process I went through up front. In this case, I don't believe I'm gonna have to tear into the galley too much. It would be this bit up above headliners. We'll have to wait and see, but I don't think those bulkheads need work. This one definitely is coming out and needs work. So it would be, pulling the back of the settee there off the hinge, dismantling these lockers and shelves back here, and all this wood and trim. Couple projects. Maybe I shouldn't say this out loud. I don't think this side is going to be quite as much work as the other side, but we will see. So I'd be curious to know what you guys think. It's all got to be done. I guess my big concern is biting off too big of a chunk before this thing splashes. Hopefully April, I'm thinking, because I need these bulkheads in. I need to be ready to splash. I'm going to be working on this thing sitting on a mooring ball all summer. If I can get this buttoned up in here, not necessarily finished, but functional, the basics put back together, and then I'm going to go after this stuff up in here, dealing with the leaks. I'm not sure that this one does leak, but it's still going to come apart and get rebedded and resealed. So that is all I've got for today. It went pretty quick. This one in the back here, I guess I was still on my learning curve as exactly how I was going to go about it. When I got up here, it worked out pretty good. And actually, I was able to get both of those out of a 2x8 sheet of CDX plywood. Underneath these templates, I've got 2 more pieces, enough to do this port side. Worked out well. Okay, guys, that's it for today. As far as the boat works go, I am going to shoot some footage on the ride home here, get some more scenery of the Green Mountains from west to east. Like I had said earlier today, going to do some Travel Channel stuff, and eventually I will be sailing the world and showing you some of that stuff as well. So I want to show you what Vermont has to offer, and I'm going to try to include that in some of my stuff. The main focus for now is still going to be refit, but while I'm here for the next year and a half, I want to show you what there is here to come check out. If you guys ever want to visit Lake Champlain, I would recommend it. Okay, one last thing. Thank you for following my channel. Please like, comment, and subscribe.